Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today is day 9 of hashtag Art Journal Habit 2018. This is a month-long daily art journaling challenge with one-word prompts brought to you by Art Joy of Sharing Facebook group. So, you can still join. It's not too late. You can still do it. Also, if you are behind already, which is, easy to do, don't stress about it. This is just for fun. So for today's prompt, the word was alike. And I found a quote on the internet. Sometimes you just find a quote on the internet that you like. And I thought this one was really appropriate for how I feel about things and people and all that stuff. So I decided to use it. So since it had the word leaves and the word branches, I knew I was going to make a tree. But hey, what kind of a tree, what sort of a technique, all that. I've been trying, or I am trying, maybe not too successfully, but I would like to use a lot of stuff, a lot of techniques and things that I haven't been using lately. I'm really attached to collage, and I'm really attached to acrylic paint and my Posca pins, and I don't know, maybe you guys are getting a little bit bored. So I decided to do something weird and different. These are oil pastels, which are these are cheap. I mean, I think they were like $3 at Michael's. The bigger ones are a little bit more expensive, but these ones, the smaller ones, are just super inexpensive. They have a oily, waxy, ooky feeling to them, so I don't use them that often. They make my hands feel yucky. I just don't, yeah. But some people use these for beautiful artwork. Full, gorgeous, big canvases and stuff. They've been around forever. You might have used them as a child when they were called Cray Paws. These are just a different brand of that. So I just colored in random colors all over my page, and it had some gesso on it, but it wasn't completely covered. But by putting that waxy stuff on there, it covered up the background pretty well. And then I took some black gesso. This is the Liquitex brand. It's very matte, which ends up being kind of a problem for me later. But I put that over the top of the Cray Paws, or oil pastels, or whatever you want to call them, and I dried it. And then I'm now deciding where my little quote is going to be. And I drew around it, and I'm using ball stylus. I have two different ball styluses here. One of them has a smaller point, and then another point, and then the other one, the darker wood one, has a little bit bigger points. So it's just like a piece of metal with a ball on the end, and they're good for a lot of things. They're good for scoring. Most often that's what I do with it. I also use them as kind of a pokey tool sometimes. I use them for a weeding tool if I have some type of a die cut that's very fine. Useful little things to have. You can also use ball styluses to do mandala painting. You could buy a whole set of them of all different types of balls and make beautiful mandalas by doing dots with them. So interesting tool to have. But what I'm doing with this one this time is I'm using it to scratch. And I am drawing my tree over my black background by scratching off the black gesso with probably the very smallest of the balls. Maybe it might be. It's almost a point, but it's not so pointy that it's ruining the paper. If I'd used a pokey tool, is what I call them, an awl is another word for it, I would probably scratch the paper and make marks in the paper and tear the paper rather than just scratching off the black. What I want to do is just scratch off the gesso enough that the bright colored pastel underneath shows through. So there I made a little bit of a boo-boo and put a line where I wasn't supposed to. So all I had to do was just get a brush and put some more gesso on. No big deal. If I didn't like my drawing, I could put gesso over it again and start over if I wanted to, but I was fine with it. It's just kind of a curvy tree trunk with branches, and then eventually I'll put on some leaves to go with my quote. No two leaves are alike, and yet, well, I can't read the rest of it. There are no, no two leaves are alike, and yet there's no antagonization between them or between the branches on which they grow. Just basically means we're all different, but we can get along. On Facebook, I saw a graphic that I thought was just smart. It was just very smart, and it was something about how do you get along with people or something like that, or how do you get along with people of different races or something. And it had two eggs in the first picture was a white egg and a brown egg, and then in the next picture it had a cast iron pan with the eggs cracked, and they were exactly the same, right? Because inside the egg is the same while the outside's different. And I thought that was just a really good, interesting graphic way to put it. Just smart, smart, smart. So I'm just continuing to draw. There's not much to this. This is a very quick video today, which is good for me. Maybe not as good for you guys. Getting a little bit of a cold again. I'm going to be traveling. I'm trying to get everything done. And so being able to make a quick page is kind of a personal miracle. My pages usually take a couple of hours, and this one probably only took 45 minutes maybe. So happy about that. So then once I was done with my drawing, I went ahead and went over it with some matte medium, as well as putting on the little cutout thing that I printed off the internet. And this right here is where I made a little bit of a mistake. I tried to fill in the background where I had gotten a little bit of something on it with a little bit of the black gesso, but the black gesso is a different color than the background of the paper, so it's blaringly obvious. And I should have realized that, but whatever. Sometimes things happen, and I'm just moving on. I'm not going to pull that thing off and redo it like I might have in the past, but I just don't have time for that. So it is what it is. This is an art journal page in my art journal, which probably, although the 11,000 of you are seeing it, or whoever watches it. I know that there's 11,000 subscribers, but not everyone watches every video. But nobody else is going to see it. And it's just going to stay in a book anyway, so it's no big deal. So I got my white Posca pen, the fine point one, and I'm going over the words to try to make them look a little bit more handwritten, and also brighter. And then I use the white Posca pen to just kind of draw in some lines to define a little bit of the trunk and the branches. And that is about it for this page. I hope you're enjoying the series. If you are, please remember to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notification bells. And of course, if you know someone who likes rainbow trees, you can share this with them or pin it to Pinterest. I've also been pinning all my videos in a special file for hashtag Art Journal Habit 2018. So they'll all be in one place on Pinterest. So if you follow me, you can find them. And that is it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.